And I'm going to do the transcript also. Should just do that together. But hey, thank you for being here. Today we are going to be talking about unleashing AI into your proposal process. And this is something that is very dear to me, sort of. I'm usually talking about the metaverse, but today I'm going to be talking about proposal process, which I have not talked about for a while. So this is my first little adventure, getting my feet wet back into the proposal space. But I'm doing that because artificial intelligence has kind of rocked the whole world. Everything, every industry that we've come across these days, there is something about AI. And there's a lot of fears going on with that, but there is a lot of opportunity to be made. And so because I have a particular skill set, I am trying to use that to help people to understand the possibilities and potential with utilizing AI into some of their activities. And I lost my presentation, so give me a second. As we're thinking about the future definitely is inclusive of all of these different technologies. And you are one of our participants today is a woman of technology. And, I am a woman of technology. We are women who have been in the technology space and been able to see the evolution of various types of technology. Let me start off by saying my name is Nicole Maxwell, and I am very happy to be providing this workshop to you today. This is a workshop that I put together, like I said, for a reason. I wanted to get this out there, get the information out there and share it. But I also wanted to really just play with some of the technology. And in the course of actually creating this, I was able to do that. But I wanted to play with the technology a little bit and just see how it changed my previous experiences. My name is Nicole Maxwell, and I am a digital transformation and metaverse implementation consultant. And I specialize in automation, business process automation. And I put most of those things, most of that knowledge these days into thinking about the metaverse. But because I am an end-to-end implementation consultant, and that's really where my specialty lies, I've had the opportunity to have my feet dipped into a whole bunch of different technologies as they've evolved, as they've come across my path, and I've come across theirs. So automation is one of them, and AI and automation go hand in hand. My experience with proposals comes from the fact that I used to be the director of professional service for a small software company called Privia. And Privia created software that automated the proposal workflow. And I was, in charge of doing that for all of our new customers and all of our customers who were migrating or onboarding. I also managed a utility configuration for contract lifecycle management. And that was created with DocuSign and their contract lifecycle management suite, which they acquired from us, called Spring CM. And so that's where kind of my history with proposals comes from. I have seen so many different types of proposal teams and different challenges that these teams have had, from the big guys like SAIC and others that I won't name just because some of that stuff is confidential. But being able to see their process, see what they go through, and be the one that they call when there's a problem with that actual workflow, and having to work through it and work on it to automate it and fix the kinks out of it has been interesting, to say the least. I don't say that I'm a proposal specialist because I'm not, but I do specialize in technology and automation and the process behind the thing. And so when you think about proposals are all process. One of the most renowned processes when it comes to proposals is Shipley's. And so Shipley's is something that gives people pain and also, provides them with a whole lot of funding. So it has been tried and true. And it is something that I am hoping ChatGPT can actually fix for a lot of folks. So as we're going through today's presentation, I am going to be doing a variety of different things over here, but I, welcome you to stop me, ask and answer, ask any questions, and I will answer them for you. And yeah, let's get going. So, that was my cue. Let's get going. I have like 80,000 windows open. This is how I work. And so it's not always conducive to sharing with others. All right. So we're going to share our presentation. All right. So Lori is here with us, Lori Mitchell. Lori, can you tell us a little bit about your proposal experience while I'm getting this set up?
My proposal experience is at the very beginning. I've been using ChatGPT to help me with writing proposals, specifically for sponsorships and for grants.
Okay. Well, you're going to enjoy today's session then. All right. So we're here today for Ready, Set, Go. Add ChatGPT to the proposal workflow. So, we've already kind of talked a little bit about me. So now I want to talk a little bit about what is this thing called ChatGPT? What is the thing that everybody has been talking about, and why and how can we use it inside of our proposals? And you just heard Lori say that she's been using it already. And so, first of all, if you are in a space where you are competitive, that is the experience of at least 20-30% of your competition. They are already using ChatGPT. They are already using AI. You might even already be using AI and you just don't know it. So there is a lot that you have to catch up on if you're just now getting to this. But I'm going to make that easy for you. We're going to go through some things that are very comfortable, starting with kind of what is this? So what is AI? So first of all, ChatGPT is one of many artificial intelligence that's out there. Artificial intelligence is a branch of technology or computer science that is aiming to create systems that are able to replicate human functionality and, in this case, human intelligence. They are able um, to act on different tasks when given specific instruction. And if you're giving specific instruction, then that's usually machine learning, which is underneath the umbrella of artificial intelligence. These tasks include everything from understanding our natural language to recognizing different patterns and problem solving and learning. But why is that important? AI can automate routine tasks, provide analytical insights, and even enhance your customers' engagement. You've been using chatbots for a very long time. That is a form of AI and machine learning. It's transforming our industries. In the last 6 months, we have seen digital transformations that are out of this world, unconscionable just a few years ago, including in proposal development. They're making our processes more efficient and more data driven. So let's get started here. We are primed to propose. AI has pushed the boundaries of what we thought was possible. It's ushering us into a new era where our processes are reinvented and enhanced by this AI technology. I like to start people off by just thinking of AI as your digital assistant. So your artificial assistant that's sitting there, if it helps you to think of a teddy bear that's right next to you and name that after your AI, then that's fine. But really, it is a virtual assistant for you. You can use this for everything. So it is not limited, nor is it specific to just proposals, right? So today we're going to be focusing on proposals, just because that's why you're here. And I want to make sure that you understand that it's bigger than just this. I want to help you harness the power of AI as a user. Doing so is absolutely imperative. This transformative tool is not just about automating tasks, but it's also about making incremental improvements. It's about reshaping and reframing the way that you think about work and freeing up some of your time so that you can do other things, like address that whole backlog that you have, that you've been avoiding because, new stuff is coming in all the time. I talk to people about augmenting their creativity. In this case, we're talking about proposals. Augmenting your creativity is something that, over the last couple of months, I have just decided is a thing. Augmented creativity is an actual space, but I augment your creativity by helping you to address or to use technology to support whatever your creative genius is. So a lot of folks are creatively talented at art. I've done generative art using AI for the last several years. Some are content developers, as in the proposal team. We have our content writers and our proposal writers. They are augmenting their writing craft using AI. The goal here is to gain a foundational understanding of what artificial intelligence is and its role in proposal development. We are going to discover, where you're going to identify, we've already done that. You're going to identify what AI is. You're going to understand AI and understand how to use it and understand the different types of AI that are out there. We're going to engage with AI. So you get some hands-on activities, some hands-on training to let you know how to really, really use it. And then we're going to question. So I am a fan of asking questions. So if you have questions, go ahead and ask them. I may not have the answer, but I will get back to you. All right. So, and as we're going through this at the end, I'll give you some resources, which are very special resources, which I have for this specific training. So our foundations of AI. Like I said, it's all about human intelligence. Like someone someday was sitting in their basement and said, I want to see if I can program a something technology to replicate human intelligence. Can I replicate how I'm doing something? Can I move beyond it? And so artificial intelligence, again, is that branch of computer science that deals with this. It was created around the 40s. By Alan Turing and the Turing test, which was pushed into the 50s with John McCarthy, who they consider to be the father of AI. AI's creation aimed to revolutionize various industries by automating routine tasks and providing deep analytical insights. And that was in 1940. Now, fast forward to today. Like I said, we've seen innovation at this ridiculously rapid pace that it's been on. In 6 short months, we've seen the launch of ChatGPT's. We've seen the launch of ChatGPT's OpenAI come to market, and that was in November of 2022. As of this recording, it is May of 2023. Since then, we've seen ChatGPT jump iterations, so it has jumped to the next version. We've seen it leap from 3 to 3.5 to ChatGPT 4, which is where it is now. We've also seen them add in some things like plugins. Plugins went live for everyone a few weeks ago, and I've had a blast using it ever since then. There's the premium version, which allows you to do all sorts of different things that you may not have known, and I'll show you some of those today. ChatGPT is now integrated into certain browsers. ChatGPT and Microsoft are partnered. And so Microsoft products are including ChatGPT into some of those products. So you're starting to see that roll out. Bing is the Microsoft version of a web browser, and in that browser, you can use ChatGPT 4, which is the latest iteration of ChatGPT, and you're able to use it freely use it. So that's a way that you can get your hands on it if you have not tested this out. If you have and you don't like 3.5 because you're like it's slow, which it is for free users, it is a little bit slower, but you're not in a situation to upgrade, you can always go over to Microsoft Bing and use the chat there. There are privacy concerns throughout all of AI. And so I welcome you to tap in with me and we can have a whole consultation about that, or I can come talk to your group about that, because that is one of my big peeves about everything is ethics and data privacy when it comes to all of future tech, including AI. But this market adoption is rapid. In terms of what this is doing, it is rapid. We are not only seeing ChatGPT as a standalone, we're seeing all the other versions of, techies out there, because as techies, we like to iterate on someone else's work and say, hey, I did mine a little bit better. And so there are all these other versions of it. There are private versions of ChatGPT that are trained on your local data. And when I say that, if it doesn't make sense, it is like me specifically customizing an AI specific to your organization. As a proposal manager or someone, in the proposal space, that is extremely important to know that that is an option that you have, because most proposal teams have something called a content library. That content library is full of your past performance and the things that have gone well, the things that you have decided against, your decision-making practices and procedures, and statistics on how well you've done. All of that is located inside of your content library, because most proposal teams reuse their information over and over and over again. They just repackage and reuse it as a form of marketing and proposing. So all of that is out there, and all of that is something that an AI can be trained on to provide you really, really specific information when you ask. So let's talk about that. And this is, again, the logo for ChatGPT, or for OpenAI, which is the creator of ChatGPT. So if you see that out there, you know that your technology is using OpenAI and ChatGPT. Now, I want to pause for a second because I'm not going to go into this too much today, but we're talking about chatbots. We're talking about communications. That's not all that's out there. In fact, that's not where this started when it comes to mass adoption. When it comes to mass adoption, this started with art, as did, some things over the metaverse and NFTs. This followed suit because art led the way. As a proposal crafter, creator, specialist, a contributor to a proposal, you will at some point need a graphic, need some sort of visual to support your proposal. And one of the great ways that's out there now that's changed and revolutionized things for proposals is generative AI art. And so you can speak words into your computer, type them out, and in just minutes, you will see a brand new rendering based on the AI's interpretation of that art. So that's a whole class all by itself also, but I might be able to show you some of that here in a few moments.
Nicole, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
So when it comes to the plugins, are you going to go over the plugins and how to access them?
I am going to go over what that looks like. Yes.
Yep. Okay, cool.
All right. Remind me if I don't stop there. But yes, we're going to talk about plugins. All right. So who's using AI? We've already heard our Lori Mitchell here is using AI. You're probably using AI of various forms and flavors. AI is being used extensively everywhere. Smart teams are using AI because they are getting back their time. Time is our most valuable commodity, regardless of what data says. Time is our most valuable commodity. So time is something that we could all use back because it's something that we can't create, right? You can't create and generate time. Individuals, consumers are using AI. Businesses of every single size out there is using AI, from solopreneurs to small businesses and enterprises, research institutions, and yes, our government. And so if you're here, then you're probably thinking about federal contracts and governments and grants and things like that. So yes, we are using that here too. And it's important because I'm not going to talk about this too much. I am going to talk about this in one of the resources I'm giving you, but regulation for AI. I just told you that we started this in November of last year. It is now May. Regulation for AI is not out there yet. It is unlikely that if you work at a large corporation or a large company that they have a AI use policy yet. I am helping some teams try to craft an AI use policy. It's been a great endeavor. It's very thought-provoking, but it takes the right people being in the room to ask questions to get those types of policies put in place for use. Because if you have a team that is not thinking about the future, if you have a team who's stuck in the past in various ways, they're not diverse, they're not ethically inclusive, then your AI policy is going to be too rigid. It is going to be unfollowable. Like, you don't want to have a policy that people can't follow. I used to create policies, standards, and procedures also. So this is one of the things that I do also. But when you're thinking about AI, everybody's using it. So who's creating it? So where can you find it? Now, I've put up a few. These are just a few of the different places where you can find ChatGPT, because that's what we're going to focus on for the most part of today. But companies from everywhere have jumped on board to integrate or create their own artificial tooling. So I told you a few minutes ago that you've probably experienced a chatbot. Anytime you go to a website these days, at the bottom right-hand corner, there's usually a chatbot popping up and saying, how can we help you? It's a new form of customer service. Take it or leave it for what it's worth. But this is a little bit different. This is actually using artificial intelligence, where you can ask an unprovoked or unscripted question and get a response that is on target and on theme when you're thinking about proposals. But these companies are actually making use of ChatGPT in some flavor, form, or shape right now, except for Google. And Google has its own. So if you are an organization that is not using Microsoft, because I told you Microsoft and OpenAI have a partnership, so a lot of these different tools have ChatGPT included now. But Google also has its own AI. And so that AI is slowly rolling out because there are a lot more people impacted by what Google is rolling out. So first of all, Google will have search, the ability to search within Google search for utilizing its AI. Google also has its own standalone AI, which is called Bard. And so I am going to show you that. And then inside of Google Workspace, so if you're an organization that doesn't use Microsoft products, so you're not using Word or Excel and PowerPoint, you're using Google products, which are Sheets and Docs and Slides, then you're going to see what we call Duet. It is called Duet, like a song, AI. They also are creating really cool things for music. I've created music using Google's Test Lab for their music language model. But there was a lot of really cool things going on there. Constant Contact is another. Constant Contact is an email marketing platform, and that platform, which actually I'm a partner of, but that platform allows you to generate your marketing content with AI. And so I'm going to show you some of that stuff today too. We're gonna have some hands-on practicals where you get to actually create something from nothing and see how AI works. So let's talk about this. So I've been telling you, well, it's this thing that's out here in this world, but it is a collaborative tool, and so it's collaborating with you. So if you're in proposals, you understand what collaboration is. It collaborates with you. You collaborate with it on whatever you're creating, whatever response is being generated. So if you're into technology, this is, to me, the way that this made sense to me was thinking of a formula. In AI world, these are called prompts. But in technology, this is called a formula or a command. So you are typing instructions for your actual, for the parameter that you want to have returned to you. So what do you want to see returned? So a prompt is a specific instruction or input and then once you input that, it is going to, it being AI, is going to respond with something that answers the question that you posed. Okay. So a prompt guides AI through the generation of responses. It serves as the initial context or query that sets the direction of the conversation. A prompt can be a single sentence, a paragraph, or even multiple paragraphs, depending on the complexity of the desired interaction. There are many types of prompts, and so I'm going to go over a few of those with you. All right, so this is quick education. This goes a lot deeper, but at a high level. The various types of prompts. I'm starting at the bottom because at the bottom, I really want us to be in the space where this just happens. I don't have to prompt. I don't have to do anything like that. I can just talk. And when I'm just talking, then my AI is responding and it understands what I said and it responds to me. Command and response isn't new with AI. If you are somebody who has an Alexa or you have a Google Home Hub, like I have a Google Home Hub, if you say the words, the command words, which in my case I won't say, but let's say that it's, hey, Lori, then I said, hey, Lori, turn on the lights, then my Google would respond and turn on the lights in my home. That is my own personal Internet of Things. And so that's where we're heading with the metaverse. And so we're going to talk about all that in the future. But right now, you can do this with your own home. So you can set up your own network at home and use commands, whether it's, maybe you're more familiar with the TV. So you use a command, you talk into your remote, you press the button. First of all, that's part one. And then you speak and you say, hey, find Bridgerton on Netflix. And it is going to pull up the options for what it believes you said and the best place for you to find and seek out that information, right? So that's a form of this as well. Prompting, casual conversation. I want to move in my future. We move past all of this. I don't have a browser in my future. I don't have anything that like any devices. Like I just have my voice. Or, if I don't have a voice, then I have some sort of mechanism where I can type or, braille input something. But I just use my voice and I speak out into the world and things come into being. That is harmony for me. That is the epitome of the metaverse. And that's where I want to be headed. But when we're looking at ChatGPT, I'm going to come back to the present for a minute because there are very specific things you can do to speak with ChatGPT. I like to just talk. I am somebody who, when I communicate with AI, I don't start off prompting. I start off talking. And I say, I really like, and then enter and see what happens. And then I shape my conversation from there. Others, and for you, I recommend doing these 3 techniques on the top. So 1, 2, and 3, which is 0 shot, 1 shot, and few shot. The shot is your shot to actually ask this question. So think about it like that. There is 1 shot, or I'm sorry, there's 0 shot. And 0 shot uses general understanding. It doesn't require any examples. You just type something in and it spits something back out. We'll have an example here in a second. 1 shot. 1 shot, you provide 1 example, and then it provides you feedback on whatever you've asked for. Few shot allows you to provide a series of examples and narrow down your responses. So if you think about a JSON file is going to have different objects and parameters on it. And so each entry is going to have a specific set of criteria. And so if you provide that, that sequence to it, then it is going to say, okay, and then continue down the path. So if you think of, we'll get to my example in a minute. So there's 0 shot, 1 shot, few shot. All right, 0 shot. So 0 shot uses general understanding to respond. An example of this is, let's create a story about team building for government proposals. That's an example of a prompt. I asked for what I wanted, and I asked for, you know, I don't care what you give me, just give me something. And then we'll go from there. And so you can do that. That's kind of, I kind of use 0 shot, but I still like to think of it as a little bit more casual than this, what I do, if you were looking at my notes. 1 shot. 1 shot uses general understanding and your example to respond to you. So I want you to provide me with 5 headings for the next section of my book or of my article, or, you know, whatever, of this proposal. And it's going to sound like AI for the DOJ. And when you input that, it is going to provide you with 5 different titles that are traditionally unique that you can use in whatever you're creating and crafting. Few shot. Okay, so few shot uses general understanding in your example to respond. So in this case, you've given a few different examples. So create a theme for decentralization based on the holidays. And then I'm going to say New Year's, New You. Valentine's, loving self-sovereignty, and then just waiting to see what happens next. And then it will send me another 12, 24, 30 different responses to this prompt. So I'm going to show you that here in just a second. All right, so now it's time to practice. So let's do it. Do you have any questions before we get going with that piece?
No, I just noticed I'm doing a lot of 1 shots, and eventually on my own moving into few shots.
Okay.
So to get the right information that I need. So I don't have any questions right now, but I have seen some prompts that are amazing because they're like 3 paragraphs long.
And you know, it's funny because some of them are great, but then others, it's too long. It's too much. And they tell you don't be overly specific because you don't want to like confuse it so much. Like think about if then statements, right? So if then or then, right? Like, so if then do this, do this, do this, do this. And so it keeps doing. And then it's only got this little tiny bucket of things that it can continue to do.
Right.
So you kind of want it to be just a little bit broader, but really target what you're looking for. It's kind of like marketing and ads, ironically. Right. And if you knew me, you would know why that's ironic. All right. So I am signed in to one of my accounts. And this is an account that I don't use too often, but I am going to use it today. So one of the things I wanted to do was all the practicals that I just showed. So I am going to say, first of all, I like to wake up my chat because sometimes you time out if you've been logged in for too long. Now, I'm not logged in for too long right now, but I like to say hello to my ChatGPT in the morning. It's a little weird. Like I said, we're friends because it's learning a whole lot about me, and I'm appreciating it a whole lot. And so it's becoming my best friend these days. But,
Oh my God.
I do. I say hi. And one day, oh my goodness, what did it say? It said to me, I said hello, or I said something, and it said, good morning, I'm functioning as intended. And I said, oh, that's perfect. I'm going to use that forever. Like, I'm not going to fake the funk at all. I'm functioning as I'm meant to today. That is what it is. Before we move on, these are important. So what you're seeing on screen right now is examples. So Lori, can you confirm you can see my screen and you're seeing ChatGPT?
I can see the practice slide.
Okay, we're gonna stop presenting that, and then I'm just gonna present my entire screen over there. All right, there.
Now I can see it.
Okay, cool. Okay, so this screen is important because this is a reminder at all times of what you're dealing with. So first of all, it gives you examples of how to speak to it on the left-hand side. And so those are things you can get started with. In the middle, it tells you what it's capable of. That is not nearly at all what it's capable of. But that's a little bit to get started, right? The main thing to think about here is that it is trained to decline inappropriate requests. That is a good thing. It allows you to follow up on if you wanted to provide a correction to what you said, like it'll respond to that. It remembers what you said earlier in the conversation. Now, I'm hit or miss with that part. Like sometimes after a while, especially on my free account, it decides that it has forgotten, the 6 months of conversation that we've had about this one thing. And I have to remind it. So that's something to remember. And then it shows you limitations. The limitations are really, really important. The main limitation as a proposal specialist person that's trying to do a proposal is that it only has knowledge up to 2021. And that is specific for standard ChatGPT. Like I said, you can go out to Microsoft Bing and use that on their Chromium browser. And they actually do allow you to formulate using current events. So there's ways around it. There's also the upgraded ChatGPT plan, which will let you actually seek out information from the browser, but that is also a little iffy, and it's also using Bing. So there's some challenges there. So remember, we're current up to 2021. It knows things up to 2021. And what I've also found is that if you were not, we'll talk about that later. All right. So what else did I want to say? I'm kind of trying to get beyond my camera so I can see that. All right. Okay, so we're going to start with the first prompt, which was zero shot. And zero shot was create a story. Create a story about team building for government proposals. And then just hit enter. And you wait literally like 5 seconds, and there you go.
Are you using 3.5?
This is currently 3.5. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now you can see how quickly this has come up. You could read this if you wanted to. I'm not going to, but you could read it if you wanted to. And it would show you, like you could continue the story. You could ask questions about the story that it created. You could ask it to expand on specific parts of the story, and it will do that. This is generated out of the clear blue sky. Some of this is a result of the digestion of the internet up to 2021, but a lot of it is also just artificial intelligence doing what it's doing, which is acting human and creating different components of a story. I recommend, if you're going to use that you actually read the story, because sometimes AI has something that it does, and that is called a hallucination. Hallucinations are the bane of existence for just using everything that ChatGPT gives you. Hallucinations are when your AI believes that it knows that it knows that it knows something that it's told you, and that is false. So it could be looking you dead in your face and saying, your name is Sam Jones and you live at blah, blah, blah address. And you know different and it knows different. But in the way that it communicates to you, it is true as the sun. So just be mindful of that. AI hallucinations are a real thing. When I was first getting into this, I had to ask, like, is that something that we made up, or is that actually a scientific terminology? Like, that's actually what it's called in the scientific world, is an AI hallucination, where it dreams that it's doing something and it's acting in that way. And it is stubborn on it. I will say that I've had my fair share of use of different AI tools. And in doing so, Bard will hallucinate the most out of all the ones that I've used. Bard is Google's.
Yeah, Bard has been, I'm disappointed with Bard, and I
Are
haven't
you?
used it. Yeah, I
I
haven't used
find
it.
they have different niches. Let's take a minute. So we've done a zero shot. I'm going to pull up some of the other AI so that you can see what some of the other ones are.
Cool.
And so I'm going to go ahead and go to Bard. And I should have it. No, not on this one. I have to make sure I'm on the right account. Okay, there. So with Google, you have to be on the right account. I have several Google accounts. And so there's some things that I like about Bard. There's some things that I dislike about Bard. I'm going to try to get it to show you a hallucination. Now, they may have fixed this, and it may not happen in the same way that this has previously happened to me. But I want to show you that just so that if it's still active, you can see it in real time. So I asked previously, is there, okay, how do you change the color of all instances of a word in a Google Doc using replace? Okay, so I asked, how do you change the color of all instances of a word in a Google Doc using the replace function? So let's go look at that really quick. This is a Google Doc. I'm going to do this. What I want to do. That's not where I want to be. Why is this in these sheets? Okay, so clearly Google's tripping today. Anyway, I can't show that right now, but I'm going to ask the question.
Okay.
And so Google has just updated this. Bard is going to be available inside of your email. It's not called Bard in the email. Like Bard is the version that is most similar to ChatGPT. But in your Gmail, you're going to have an AI assistant called Duet. And so it's going to be in Gmail, it's going to be in your Google Docs and your Google Sheets, and in most of Google's products, there is going to be some form of Duet. There's some really cool stuff coming out called Google Palm that is essentially a notebook that is your AI assistant. It'll revolutionize the way we do a whole lot of different stuff. But for now, there's Bard, and Bard is still in experimental phase. Now, when I asked this question, this is not a viable answer. So I had a document, and that document was, I had asked, how do you change all of the specific colors how do you change the color of every instance of a word using replace, find and replace? And you actually can't do that. And so in this instance, I believe it is still telling me that I can do this. It is coming up with ways to do it. So it's telling me to click on the more button, then in the format section, click on the color font, and then change it. In my version of Docs, that didn't work. So I'm gonna just try this over here. I'm gonna try
And
to find
is this just like going to the help, for example? So a help file is almost like it's a form of automation as well, right?
It is. And so, search and help, like we've seen flavors of this kind of stuff. But the difference is the ability to create from nothing. So those seek out specific information and it presents it to you. This, because of the question I asked, should be doing that. But because it's AI, it's creating a way for me to do it. And that's weird. But
Okay.
that's where we are. So let me open up. This is the problem, is that I don't have, like I have, let me do this. I'm going to pull this offline for just a second because I need to get into the right account so I can show you what I'm trying to show you. And here we go. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you. So this, speaking of tooling, so again, if you were a proposal company that utilizes Google Docs, then you are going to start seeing this little guy right here that says, help me write. And so in this instance, I could say the exact same thing that I said over here in ChatGPT world. And I could say, create me a story about team building for government proposals, copy that in, and then see what happens. You can click the create button. Okay, I'm going to take out the word government and see what happens. Now, Google is a lot more likely to have the type of error that you just saw pop up. So what it said was, we cannot create that request for you. I've seen that happen quite a bit. But in ChatGPT, you don't have to worry about that. That's why that wasn't really the suggestion. It's to use Google, but we're going to use this piece later. So create a story for team building for proposals. It came up with something. This is definitely a line of dialogue. It looks like there's a lot of talking between two folks, whereas over on ChatGPT, there's not. It's an actual story. And this to me seems like it's very on the level of about a 5-year-old. If I could read it, it doesn't really feel like a proposal team. This one, for example, says team building is lame. That's not something we would say in a professional world. So I could come down here and click on refine. This is one of the buttons I absolutely love in this process. And you're able to formalize this. You can shorten it. If this is too long, you can ask it to elaborate on this. And if you didn't like it at all, you can ask it to rephrase or recreate it. So I'm going to go with formalize. And so it'll go into the background and it will begin to render a little something, something. And we're going to go with whatever it gives, just in the interest of continuing the conversation. So we're going to insert this. And now I have something to build off of. So this could be an article about proposal teams in the future. This could be anything that you've created or crafted for yourself. And then you can keep going. There's no limit to how many times you can do that. So like they say, lyrics to a song about your first love. Like there's a lot of different things that you can use this for, because Google Docs are used for a wide variety of users. It's not just the professional folks that are using it. But if you are using it for your profession, then I recommend highly that you be mindful of hallucinations. So looking at the guidance it gave me, it said, open up the Google Doc you want to change, click on the replace button in the toolbar. So there's my toolbar, and there's a find and replace button, but there's not a replace button. So that's the first thing. I have also created instructional documentation before, so that's kind of a pet peeve. But I also know that in Google Docs, if you just click Control H or Control F, you can find and replace, which is the same as going up to edit and then clicking find and replace there. And then it says in the find what field, type what you want to change the color of. In the replace with field, you can type the new color. So I'm going to find the word correct, and then I'm going to replace with the color red. Now, when I do this, I already know what's going to happen, but I'm following the instructions that are here. Replace with what? Click on the more button. So there is no more button here. And then it says in the format section, click the font color option. That doesn't exist either. So and then you can go replace all. So what it does do is provide you options. So down here at the bottom, if you wanted to script this in, you could certainly do so. And then you can put some code in there using app script. But my point in showing this is to show that AI can be dead serious and tell you the wrong thing. So when it says go jump in a lake, don't do that. Think about it first. We are still in the stage where this is early and we have to quality check and fact check everything that's telling us. Did that make sense, Lori?
It makes perfect sense.
Okay.
And again, that's why me and Bart aren't friends.
I got you. Okay. All right. So back to our examples. So we've created a story about team building for government proposals. That was zero shot. We're going to create we're going to do the second one, which was the second example I gave, which was provide 5 headings for the next sections, like AI for DOJ. Okay, so I'm going to type that in. And I started a new chat because I don't want my old chat to flavor what it's telling me. I want this to be fresh. Okay, and we got that out. And so within seconds, now you have a model for creating a space, creating several different articles about, AI for the DOJ. So various applications, you've got the medical field, autonomous vehicles, learning and teaching, cybersecurity, and urban development. So those are different ways that it thought that, hey, this is a way we could do this. And so you can see where it's slightly similar and how it's trying to think about like the way that you were thinking about it. I could refine this and say, like I said, I'm a fan of just saying, words and seeing what it does.
Could you spell out Department of Justice?
So what I want is what it just gave me, right?
Okay.
So like that's what was in my head was AI in healthcare, AI in autonomous vehicles, and AI in education. Like that's what I wanted. I could, go in and say, hey, give me 5 different industries, give me AI and, or AI in, or AI. Like I could go that deep into the thing, but a lot of times you don't need to. Just talk to it and it will do what you want. So we're getting ourselves into the space. Like when you think about the future and you think about the future that I laid out, or we're talking into the air and things are happening, when we're thinking about that, I don't want to be in the future saying, provide 5 headings that sound like if this then or for, AI and the DOJ. Like, I don't want to do that and make sure that, the sentence is at least 25 words unless I actually need to do that.
Right.
So I want us to be a promptless society. And as we move forward, I want AI to adapt to me. I don't want to adapt to AI. We're humans. And so that's the way it should be, in my opinion.
Right.
All right. So the next one, so like this is a really great way just to like begin developing for any project that you're working on, specifically proposals. So the next one is few shots. So we're going to give it a few shots. So create a decentralized theme. Okay, so this is the one I like. Create a decentralized, I have not done this. I just want to see what it does. Create a theme for decentralization based on the holidays, and then a comma, New Year's, New You. Let's throw a comma there. And then do this one, and then we're going to do Valentine's. And then do loving self cover. Right. Okay. And then I'm not going to do anything else. And maybe I do like federal holidays. Yeah, we'll do that. Oh, oops. Okay. So that's the first thing.
Yeah.
I messed up. And so it started creating an article for me because usually I'm asking for articles. So this one is create a theme for decentralization. So let's do create a list instead of a theme. So I'm just going to copy this. And I am going to qualify. This is what I meant by like sometimes you do need to go in and update or iterate on what you've said. Like you can narrow it down. I immediately saw that, hey, that's not doing what I want it to do. So create a theme for decentralization. Create a list of holidays as the theme for decentralization based on federal holiday. And we'll see what happens. That's probably not a good prompt, but we'll see what happens. Ah, there it goes. New Year's, New Year. So it's not only telling me what it is, it's giving me kind of the guidance for it.
Right.
And so it did it. So think about that. That's a business right there.
I didn't know that we had Harmony Day.
No, apparently we do. Cultural diversity.
Mm-hmm.
Now, see, from that, like you can ask a question. So, what is Harmony Day? I didn't know.
Right.
So that is an example of how we would do that. I want to head back to our practice because we've got a few other things to go through. Then we're going to practice some more using actual proposal information and show you how to do some of that. So now you get like the 3 main types of doing it. You also know that you can just talk and see what happens. Okay. All righty. All right, we're going to pull this back up. All right, so I like to consider AI to be, first of all, it's extremely powerful. Like we know that, right? Like we've seen that. It's extremely powerful. It's fast. It's friendly. Like you don't have to worry about attitude most times. You don't have to worry about it kind of doing anything other than hallucinating, which is kind of funny in its own kind of way. But I also like to think of AI as a contributor. So AI is positioned to revolutionize our approach to the proposal process because it can sit with us inside of our proposals and help us do literally everything that we need to do if we want it to. As a solopreneur, as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, as somebody on a budget, this is imperative and game changing, because now not only do you have an assistant, you have an assistant that understands literally almost anything you can throw at it and can do almost anything that you throw at it. So now that you think about it like that, AI as a contributor is could potentially be one of your most valuable proposal resources when you're thinking about how to actually bid, capture, and propose, like how to go about that process. You can put this bad boy into any position you like. You can tell it to be a proposal writer. You can tell it to be a subject matter expert. This can help you get into some of the spaces that you may not be able to be in right now because you don't have the knowledge, authority, and or bandwidth to do so. Like, you're not somebody who's relevant in an industry right now. So you can work to becoming that way. So you can use this to help you get to the next stage where you are attracting the right types of partners and you are getting seen for some of the primes that are out there, right? So AI as a contributor is something that we definitely want to be thinking about in each and every step along the proposal process. So try this. We're going to try acting as a subject matter expert in the field of, and Lori, you're going to be able to decide what that field is, because I'm going to go back and type this into ChatGPT. We're going to do it in ChatGPT regular and then move over to ChatGPT Plus so I can show you some of the different things that are going on over there while we still have some time to do that. And then, so think about, what field you want it to be an expert in. And we're going to show, how it can be a true participant in our proposals. So while I am typing this up, when I get to that point, Laura, you tell me what industry we're going to be in.
Okay.
All right. All right. So we're going to go back because we're not done yet. Okay. A new window here, and we're going to go and we're going to say acting as a subject matter expert in the industry of, Lori?
Healthcare.
Healthcare. What type of healthcare? Anything specific?
Oh, let's see. Primary.
Oh, okay. As like a primary care physician?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to change this prompt a little bit. So acting as a subject matter expert as a primary care. And that's a good one, because I don't know how it's going to be because it's medical information. So acting as a primary care physician and subject matter expert in the industry of healthcare. Provide an article on the onset of artificial intelligence in healthcare. So I said in the industry. I'm just going to say in the industry. That's what I said. So I'm going to be true to my prompt. Okay. So acting as a primary care physician and subject matter expert in the industry of healthcare, provide an article on the onset of artificial intelligence in the industry. So this is a really wordy, prompt, but I'm going to give it a go and see what happens. And so there we go. On onset of artificial intelligence in healthcare, transforming the future of medicine. And now not only do I have my article, I have a title, it's broken out by sections. It is talking about diagnostic accuracy, streamlining administrative tasks, personalizing the treatment and precision of medicine, and improving healthcare delivery.
Nice.
So acting as an AI contributor, I am a fan, and I say this all the time, that we do not think about AI as a replacement for us. AI is a supplement to our creativity. We augment our creativity using AI. And so instead of, like, you know, you hear all these fear mongers out here who are saying, you know, the industry's changing, your job might change a little bit, because no longer do you have to be the one to come up with the first draft. You can utilize this as your first line subject matter expert and create content that your experts actually can pull from. Think about how much time that is going to save them from having to sit down and do this, when that's not like their forte. Like, they're not actually meant to be writing all these reports and things like that. They're supposed to be out saving lives because they're primary care physicians, right? So think about that, and kind of just the benefit that it holds inside of that proposal process. Think about what it would be like if you had someone who you could consult with and only take up a little bit of their time, instead of having to take up hours and hours while they actually formulate this whole article. There's cost savings in there. And so the return on investment is absolutely beneficial. Maybe not for that consultant, but for, I mean, and that consultant is actually now open to do more consulting, right? Their name gets out there even more because they're out there in different spaces, being utilized by different professionals and being seen even more. So it's possible that we find some harmony when it comes to how we are engaging in AI, and how we are using AI. So let's think about that. So I find this to be absolutely extraordinary because I know a whole lot of proposal teams and I know a whole lot of proposal writers, and they are stressed to the max all the time. They are folks who are, you know, first of all, they're in the proposal cycle. So they're not only having to write articles to help buff up their company's view of whatever stance they're taking at the moment, but they also are, you know, part of the team. And so there's deliverables and timelines and things that they have to adhere to. So I see this as something that is completely beneficial to everyone. Maybe not to the person who really likes to write their own articles, but this even allows them to do that because it gets rid of having to write just the things that they have to write, and gives them time and space to actually write the things they want to write, right? Like, that's totally different. In my opinion. I'm not a writer, but in my opinion. And so now from here, what you would do with this article, you can copy and paste it. You can do it directly from here. So if you scroll back up, you can give it a thumbs up. So, you know, this is your teammate. You're going to pat it on the back and say, hey, good job. Or you're going to say, yeah, not quite. And if you say, yeah, not quite, if you give it a thumbs down, you do get a new article. And so it will refresh whatever it is. Also asking you to send over feedback to the folks over at OpenAI so they can see, you know, why didn't you like it? But the copy button is now here. This is new in the last month or so. This did not used to exist, but now you can copy this and paste it right on top of that you didn't like from Google. And
I have done a lot of copying and pasting, let me tell you.
Here we go. Listen, now I'm going to ask it to do something else. And so can you format this
as a blog?
As a blog. There we go. Thank you, Lori.
It'll do the same thing.
No. Okay, so now we're going to go over to the other one. So we have multiple versions of ChatGPT available to us. And one of them, this is mine, I am also on Plus. So you see the window looks a little bit different. This window has all of my conversations over here, and they're exposed to the world to see. But over here, first of all, you don't see kind of the beginner's information about it. I think that should still be there as a reminder, because I literally forgot that that's what that window looks like, because this is the one I see most times. But now, when you're using ChatGPT Plus, you have access to what we were just using, which is ChatGPT 3.5, and it can, generate whatever you want, exactly what we were just doing. Or you can now make use of ChatGPT 4. And when you activate ChatGPT 4, the first thing that I'm going to tell you is that your clock is running. So you are able to, if you look way down at the bottom, you're going to see where it says ChatGPT 4 currently has a cap of 25 messages every 3 hours. So you are not able to use that just at your whim. So you want to be able to make sure that, if you're going to use ChatGPT 4, you're focused and that you really do something really good. You also have the option so ChatGPT 4 gives you greater capability when it comes to providing information. So the viability of your information is probably going to be better. The length of the information you're going to get back can be longer. The length of the information you can feed it can also be longer. And then you're going to have access to 2 amazing features, one of which is to browse with Bing, and then the other is going to be plugins. Okay, so plugins, we're going to talk about that in a minute, but browsing with Bing. ChatGPT 4 works the exact same way as ChatGPT. You can talk to it in the same way. Again, you can just provide more starting information if you wanted to. So inside of ChatGPT 4, you can say, like, let's put that article in there. And
so I got a question for you before you continue.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that down arrow, when you click on GPT-4 and you have those other options, why I have plus also and mine doesn't show up?
Which one doesn't show up?
For GPT-4, those options.
If you are in your account, come down here, click on the 3 little dots here, and then go into settings. And inside of settings, click on beta features.
Got it.
And then turn both of those on. Push them to the right, that'll turn them green, and then those should be active. I recommend highly that you close whatever browser tab that was and start a new one so that it activates.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Can you format this as a blog? I'm just going to save this and make it look pretty. Let's see what it does. And there we go. So now I didn't realize that's one of the differences there, but it absolutely is. So now not only do I have the article, it is formatting it. It looks great. I can take this, copy it, and then put it wherever, if y'all are using WordPress. I don't use WordPress, but if you're using WordPress, or I prefer Hashnode. So if you're out on Hashnode, you can just copy and paste it in there and then make your tweaks to the article, insert your personal information and revise it as needed, and then go from there. If you are working on a proposal, though, you may want to provide it with a specific set of criteria. So, 12-point font, Arial, or Cabin, or whatever they're allowing you to use for that specific proposal. Tell it that it needs to be an ebook format, which is, going to be an A5 versus an A4, which is 8.5 by 11. Sizing requirements, if that's something that's important to your proposal, tell it that, and then give it that information, and it will act accordingly. And if it can't, there is one thing that you can say. If you cannot, please ask questions before rendering. Again, there it goes. So it tells you that it cannot. So it tells you that it can't, and then gives you the way that you could do that.
Does it cite sources?
If you're using the internet, yes. Actually, yes, it will cite sources. So let's see if we can go to that physician one, and I'm going to demonstrate the plugin.
So say I did a proposal and there are statistics in there. So the AI knows the statistics, but you should cite where the statistics come from.
Yep. And it does do that. So let's see. Let's create a new one. Ask a question, Lori. Ask anything. Actually, hold on. Let me go to one of our RFPs. So we actually have RFPs that I've planned for this. So okay. Oh, because that's not okay. Wait a minute. That's weird. Okay, so we have an RFP. So one of the things that I wanted to do with you was show you how you can actually use that for a project plan. And I'm going to show you that in a second, but I want to see, where's our question? There was an RFP that I had yesterday that was saying something about you have to adhere to. Okay, let's do this one. So like there's an disability accommodation request deadline. So I'm going to use this to try to see if I can get it to cite me some sources. Disability accommodations for federal projects. And I'm not currently linked to the internet, so maybe this one won't do it. I can't remember which it does and which it doesn't. I know one version of it does do it and the other one doesn't.
Okay. It gave the law.
It gave a lot, but let's do this. So now I got that one. I'm gonna start a new chat, copy the exact same question. And I'm in, that was ChatGPT 3.5. I need to go to ChatGPT, which is why I was looking at my screen crazy a second ago, because I was like, what happened? So I'm going to redo this twice. So first of all, I'm going to do it in ChatGPT just for generic default and see what happens. And then I'm going to do it again. If it doesn't cite sources here, I'm going to do it again using the internet, and it definitely will.
Well, technically, the sources are there because it quotes the act.
It is, but it actually hyperlinks to it. So I think that is the one with the internet. So let me. I'm waiting till the end because sometimes it waits and then we'll do it there. Okay, it didn't. All right, so let's do this. So now that was default. We're going to do ChatGPT 4, browse with Bing. So this is a great example of how to actually do this. All you have to do is click browse with Bing. And then when you do that, it will hopefully, it didn't do it. It didn't do it. Oh, man.
So what if you told it Do you have to tell it to cite resources or cite sources?
No, it's been giving me sources and it's been driving me nuts. Like, you don't have to do it. So like, this is what it normally does, is it will search the internet and actually find it, like in the process of actually rendering that piece of the conversation or right before it. It goes through about 10 different sites if it can find 10, and then reports back to you on what it found. But normally, and what has been driving me nuts, is that there is a little citation mark inside of the actual blog itself. So like up here, it would have it like with a little citation right there, or even up here. And you can click on that directly from here and go straight to that link, which Bard does also. I guess that's worth saying.
Okay.
All right, so this takes a while. So that's one thing to know when you do activate the browsing. The first thing you're going to see is that up here at the top, it tells you which model you're using. You're using the web browsing. Again, all this stuff is still not official. Like it's rolling out slowly to everybody, but at certain points in time, this is still in beta. And then down at the bottom, you're going to see that green box or whatever color it shows up on your screen. It should be relatively similar. And then it should say what it is. So now it's starting to write. So it should better cite these sources. There we go. So you see that little green dot right there at the end of the first item.
Yes.
That is a 1, and that's actually a citation. And so I can click on that and it goes out to the source. So unfortunately, that first source is Wikipedia. But if you wanted to click it, it goes out there and takes you straight to that page.
Okay.
So that's awesome. This has been happening to me. I think there's an error just in general with the online browsing component or plugin or feature of ChatGPT, because this has been happening to me for probably like the last 48 hours. Everything that I asked to be browsed is not being browsed. It's driving me nuts. All right. So there's that. But that's how it works. And yours probably shouldn't do that. So long run, it should not be doing that. That is an error. And it may be due to network traffic and congestion. It can also be due to something that it found that it was trying to report on that was against its, what I call its prime directive. But it could also be just an internet hiccup or something like that.
Okay.
It wasn't. Like, there's something going on back there. All right. So now let's talk about proposals a little bit more. So ChatGPT is useful for every single proposal that you have, and every single team member that you have can make use of this in some kind of way. So I'm going to close down this tab. I'm going to go back to my RFP. So this is an RFP. This is a schedule of events. You guys are familiar with this. This is, the timeline for the RFP and getting it submitted. This is the extremely important part of actually creating an or responding to a proposal, right? So responding with proposal. So this is something that you can actually copy. And if it's gonna let me copy it, there we go. You can copy this and make light work of being a project manager. Now, don't get mad at me, any of y'all PMs out there, but this is something that can help support the team. Because you don't have to be a project manager to know how to do what I'm about to do. So what I'm going to say is, please provide, and I'm formal, like I always talk to like provide a provide a project schedule for responding, creating and responding to this proposal based on to this RFP based on the timelines and deliverables. And I'm going to go a step further with this one. So right now it says provide a schedule for creating and responding to this RFP based on the timelines and deliverables. For this one, you're also going to want to say something like, assume I have all resources and budget to compete. Okay, so I'm just going to paste what we had there. And I didn't format this. I didn't do anything. I copied and pasted it from PDF.
Right.
It's 3:30 p.m. Let's go grab a glass of water. And why don't you go wash your hands?
Oh, it's doing it. The thing that it's interesting is the formatting, how it's formatting based on what you paste it.
Yeah, I don't really like the formatting on this one. But this gives me the ability to drop this into Excel and do what I need to do with it, or drop it into, kind of over on Smartsheet or Smartsheet or even Trello, and start working on that, right? So
Right.
now I know that in order to respond to this effectively, I need to start by February 22nd. So our software, the software that I used to manage the company I used to work for, our software had this in as a function, and it was always something that wowed all of our proposal teams, because it allowed you to adjust. Now I'm going to say that too, adjust for holidays, and put Fridays, and we do not work on Fridays.
So you had it create a timeline from what you pasted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So now it's going back and it's saying it should be modifying some of these dates. Yeah. So I could qualify this even more, like, instead of pushing the work to the next day, I don't want to be behind. I want you to push that work to the day before that Friday that we're off, or the day before the holiday. And so I could go back and revise. That's another trick here in ChatGPT 4. You can actually edit your queries. So adjust for holidays. We do not work on Fridays. So adjust the timelines so that dates are not missed, and due dates should be at least one day in advance. No, I'm going to say this. That's too much words. And due dates should have a 2-day buffer. Okay, we'll see what it does. So it's already completed. So I'm just going to save it and complete it. And so now you notice that it immediately says understood, and then starts right. He's assuming some things about me, and I'm just going to let it assume what it wants to assume. And then I am looking at this right here, like this is the second draft. So this is the second time it's responded to this. And so it will enumerate like each one. So it'll iterate between each one. So now when I look at the second date here, those disability accommodation requests are no longer due by March 2nd. They are now due on February 27th. And it tells me what it did.
Right.
So that, I was so happy. Because from a tooling perspective, what we had at my old company was absolutely wonderful. Like, this was great, but it was prone to errors because it would not it would not get certain things right. And then, you got a whole proposal team upset because there was a date missed, or because the plan couldn't be adjusted with, the flexibility of something like Smartsheet or just Excel. Okay, so now I'm going to say put the new schedule into a table. Do not add commentary should be in separate columns. Let's see what it does. There we go. That's what I was looking for.
My God.
There we go.
Oh my God.
Now you've got something you can toss the name as project. And
oh my God, that is awesome. Oh, I did not know it could do tables.
Yes. Oh man, you're missing out. Tables. Like, it is amazing. Tables. So the next thing I want to do is continue on with tables. So one of the things that it does really, really well is data. So you mentioned statistics earlier. I want to ask it, and I'm going to see what happens, because I'm just going to use whatever we're using right now. I'm going to stay in this conversation. I'm going to ask it for timelines around, or for some statistical data on primary care visits. Is this the same chat? No. What is this proposal about?
Was it under the disability?
Yeah, so disabilities. Provide some data and statistics in a table about disabilities in the US and federal guidelines. I don't know. So now it's going to go out and actually search the internet. I don't think that that's a good query. I probably should have done better. But you can ask it for literally anything that you want. So I am also, a fan. So like Data Monkey in prior lives, if you want to ask it for generic information, you can also ask it for that placeholder data. You can ask it for randomized data. I asked it for a terrible proposal earlier, and I think I saved it. Let me see. I did. So we're going to modify that. So you don't even have to be amazing at, creating the things that you're creating for specific proposals now. You can come as you are and have ChatGPT fill in the blanks and help you out a little bit. So I'm going to show you that in just a second. I want to give us a chance to finish up. But as you can see, like, it's failing to read some content because, as you know, from, being in technology, all of the internet is not searchable. Like, so there are certain things that, like, there may be a link to it, but it can't be crawled by specific sources. So, or by those little web crawlers. So because those settings exist, it can't find certain things. So this has failed.
Right.
And now I'm in a loop. I hate that. Stop. Okay. I am going to say, provide some example data and statistics. And it's still going out to the US or to the internet. So I don't like that. I'm gonna go back over to regular ChatGPT and see what it does. So we're gonna go to a new window, and I'm just gonna paste that here because it can't. So yeah, it can't search the internet. So there. Now I've got a table here. And I could say, give me 2,000 rows if I wanted to. And
Okay.
it would just come up with that information and, query however it can. And then I could ask it to tell me what is the average percentage of population with based on that chart.
Mm-hmm.
So math becomes a breeze, right?
Wow.
So I don't even have to worry about that anymore. So again, these are all tools you can use within your proposal. The next thing I'm going to show you as we are preparing to ramp down, the next thing I'm going to show you is, again, how to use plugins. So plugins make life so nice. So if you are a paid subscriber to ChatGPT for only $20 a month, and I'm not being paid to say that, I should be, you can come in here and you can click on plugins after you've enabled your plugin, the plugin beta, and you can search through all these different plugins and turn them on and off and off and on and off and on, right? So one of the ones that I absolutely love is there's an AI for that. You're able to find AI. So it's scraping AIs out there and it is finding what AIs are out there. You can ask your PDF where it allows you to unlock the power of your PDF by diving into your document, finding answers, and bringing information to your fingertips. You can search the blockchain with Polygon.
Wow.
There are tons, and yes, you can actually use Zapier. Zapier is one of my favorite tools on earth. But you can search the plugin store. So all the way down at the bottom, when you first get on that that link there, you're going to come down and come to the bottom, click on plugin store. And then when you're here on plugin store, you can search through all of these. Now, there is no logical sorting order here. It's just new, all, or installed, what you have installed and what you don't have installed. So you do have to spend some time going through different plugins, and all of them are not here, or at least I've not found them all to be here. But you can click on new, and that's going to show you all the ones that are considered new according to the algorithm. And you can search through, find one that you like, and then go from there. All you have to do is say, let's say you want the playlist AI, you can turn that on, or portfolio pilot, you can turn it on just by clicking install. All right, so I don't like doing all of that. So what I'm going to do is say, is there a plugin for proposals? I don't know what it's going to say. It's asking me questions. That's awesome. Federal.
Oh, so I picked it up.
Mm-hmm. So there's Proposal Genie.
Nice.
There's Grantable. There's Latch.
What?
These already exist. So again, I'm going to go back to at the
I am
beginning,
so impressed.
which was you might not be using these, but at least 20% of your competition is. And
Yes.
so you aren't here yet. It is time that you wake up and pay attention and come to learn the power behind using AI in conjunction with your proposal process, because it's here. Now, when I click on, let's say, Proposal Genie, that's going to go straight out to the Proposal Genie or to the AI site. But now I know it's Proposal Genie. I can go out to their website, or I can just click here, and then that's going to redirect me, probably do a referral, which it is. And now I know that I can write the perfect freelancing proposal in just seconds and navigate this website and see how it is. And you can see right there that it definitely is utilizing something that looks like a whole lot like ChatGPT. So there you go. So, but you know, with the tools and tips I've given you, you don't even need something like this right now. I mean, I'm sure they have other things that are making it, you know, viable, but you can absolutely do this just with the upgraded version of ChatGPT.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so last thing we're gonna do. So that's how those work. You can do 3 plugins at one time. So that might make certain things hard. Like if you wanted to like have like this whole monster of plugins available for one specific query, but you're gonna have to break that project up because you can only do 3 at a time. The last thing I want to do, or one of the last things I want to do, is show you that you can also use ChatGPT to your benefit. So let's say that you are not skilled and well versed in how to respond to proposals. You don't do business dialogue and talking, and writing an email is not your friend. You could go over to Gmail and have Bard assist you, but as you saw, it's a little clunky. You can also type in your proposal, your executive summary, and that's actually what this is supposed to be, as an executive summary.
Mhm.
You can put all those things in here and just ask ChatGPT what it thinks, right? So
Okay.
sometimes, and I'm going to use ChatGPT for this, because sometimes it will automatically, like you won't even say anything. It'll just be like, oh no, this will never work. It just rewrites it for you. Other times you ask it specifically for a rewrite. So I need this to sound more professional, or does this sound right? And that's what I mean by I talk to this like just it's working for me, because it is. So
Right.
that's how I like to get it to respond to me, and then we go from there. And sometimes, you know, that works, and other times it's like I'm spending 20 minutes trying to tell it what to do, and I end up going with a prompt anyway. But that's just my personal preference. But because we're doing government proposals here, and because these dollars matter, we want to make sure that we understand how to actually do this. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to say, you know what, I'm pasting my copy in whatever that is. This happens to be an executive summary. This should be an executive summary for an RFP. And I don't think I said anything, so I'm going to say in healthcare. In healthcare. I'm going to say, can you review? That's the first thing I want to say.
All right.
So ChatGPT is nice. It's not going to do you like I would do you.
That's because you have a red pen.
Right. And so it says, it requires some improvements to make it more professional, persuasive, and specific. You might consider detailing your company's experience, qualifications, how you understand the potential client's needs, and how you specifically plan to address those needs. Here's a revised version. And now I'm going to be really vulnerable with my next thing. I'm going to put in, so it's doing it. So this is a better version, right?
Right.
And now you can take this and tweak it to whatever your business actually does. You make sure you remove the placeholders where it says stuff like company name, change some of the dialogue so that they don't know that an AI wrote it. But that's the starting point, right? So now you have that additional team member. So now I'm going to be vulnerable and I'm going to say, I am not a fan of, oops, what did I have in there? Hold on. Oh, this is the wrong one. Oh, well. Yeah, I'm going to use this anyway because it's right. But I'm going to say, I'm going to remove all of my personal stuff from there. And I am going to say, I would like to respond to this. I can't type. So this RFP with my intent. Review my capabilities and identify challenges I may have with this project. So I'm going to actually put in the information from the RFP that we had. So this is the RFP, and I'm going to say, all right. I'm going to put this in here. No, where's the part? I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try it out. So I'm going to stick this in here.
Okay.
And just see, and because I can't do that, maybe it's not supposed to be. But all right. So these are the prohibitions for this specific project, and hopefully I don't run out of words. I'm going to say and provide feedback.
Okay, so it's giving you recommendations.
It is. It's not exactly what I was going for, but yeah. And it's telling me what to be aware of. So like when you think about using something like this, and maybe this didn't fit the bill exactly, but when you're thinking about using this for your red team reviews for compliance, like, and for your go no go decisions, like it absolutely becomes a friend. And I think of it as a first line pass. Like obviously, like I don't want it to be this is not the sole thing that I'll be using. I want that human in place that's still going to be reviewing this. I want that human in place that's going to take it, tailor it, and fix it up and make it sound good, and make sure that it's in line with my company vibe and my cultural vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen that before. That's awesome. What I'm noticing is that it signed its own work. Down at the bottom, best regards, ChatGPT.
Best regard. Yeah. It's got a little sense of humor.
Yeah, no.
It's probably used to you
personable.
saying hi to it. Well,
I
saying hi
know.
to it every day. It knows you like a friend.
Hey, that's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what I want. So that is one of the things that we talk about, and that is absolutely what can happen is that it can absolutely make it so that it learns, like it's always learning. So when I deleted my name, number, email address from that, that's why. I don't want it to know any of that, because this is, and y'all know that I am usually talking about the metaverse and decentralization. I'm a fan of the blockchain, and I believe that Web3 is the future.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm using tools like this, these are important and critical that I get involved so that I understand how we can have the decentralized version of those. It is important that we understand that our data is out here and that people have the potential to hack our data. We cannot put everything out here. I have done everything from create books to articles to ponder the future, to come up with financial plans, to do everything using ChatGPT. but I'm very cautious about what I give it when I'm telling it about me and my business. The fact that I left my business name in there is going to bother
Yes.
me in my sleep tonight
Yes.
because I wasn't intending to do that. But I did, and it now knows that's who I am. It knew that anyway. But that is, that was an accident. So there's a lot of things that this can do great, wonderful things, but it can also do some harm. And so we need to just be mindful of what we're giving it and how much of us we're giving it, because we want to hold a little bit back, just like any good lady. So what I want to say also is we're running out of time. We're right at time, but we're not done yet. So let me go back to this beautiful presentation that we have here and wrap us up. All right, so acting as subject matter expert, we did that. Questions and answers. Oops. I didn't mean to go there yet. Questions and answers. Do you have any questions, Lori Mitchell?
No, I don't.
All right. Well, there's so much more that you can do with ChatGPT. I gave you just a little bit to get you started, but I'm a fan of automation. And so for me, this makes 100% sense. If your organization, if your culture is not here for it yet, if they are a mature organization in their process and they're not ready to make the digital leap, then you can start off small with small little things like adding ChatGPT as a first line contributor to the writing process or to the review process. We didn't talk about reviews, and that's one thing I wanted to do. If you want to stay around after this, I'll do that as bonus material. But as we are thinking about the future, we need resources. And so I wrote a book.
Oh,
That is one of the reasons why I'm doing the series, and that is Unleashing the Power of AI for Proposals, because proposals are one of the things that we can absolutely look forward to improving utilizing AI. And so this is an ebook. You are here today. You are getting a copy of this ebook from me as soon as it is published. But I wanted to just share that with you guys today. And so this is my baby. It's out here. It's my work of art. Not only is it my work of art, it is a collaboration with my friend AI. And it is also the artwork that you see here. These are not actual human beings. They are AI avatars that are created by me. And so that is a part of what we do here at Technical Consulting. We help you to augment your creativity in a variety of different ways. And so this is one of the ways that I do that. And so
did you use Dolly?
No,
You didn't?
I did not. I have not used Dolly in a minute. Dolly, I have not used Dolly in a minute. I use a lot of other tools though. For this one specifically, I'm gonna give you this little secret, and I'll probably delete this out of this video. But I use Blue Willow is based on many different AIs, but it is mainly Stable Diffusion. So yeah, I just create them, and then whatever background they have, that's actually two different pictures. But whatever background they have, I took it off with Canva. And Canva is another way that people are augmenting their creativity every single day. And I do have a referral link for that if you don't have it already. But Canva uses AI in writing. Canva uses AI in image generation and in presentations also. So like you can do a presentation like this with just AI and your brand. So there's a lot of different, like it's everywhere, and you may or may not even know it. So
right.
Really cool stuff going on.
Wow. Well, this has been very informative, and it helps me because I am delving into it and writing a lot of proposals and trying to utilize it to help myself and help the organization. So this is very helpful.
You know what, Lori? I appreciate you. I was so nervous about giving this. I'm going to stop the recording, but thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you. Make sure that you get your copy of Unleashing the Power of AI by me, and you will all be getting a copy of that with your copy of this video. So again, thank you for showing up and showing out and asking questions and participating and having fun with me. All right,
No
so we're gonna
worries.
stop the video.